Let us discuss this next topic of Dirac delta function. This function is also known as an impulse function. Why? Because what is this function? Let us first see this. Suppose nothing is happening for a long amount of time, but all of a sudden you feel some kind of earthquake. So you have a very strong signal here at this particular point, and then then everything is quiet again. So what happens at this particular point? You have a impulse of a very large magnitude, whose magnitude is very large. So this function, where you have a very large quantity at one single point and everywhere it is equal to 0. So this function represents the Dirac delta function, and it was first given by Paul Dirac. So suppose somewhere there's a bomb planted. So what is happening? There is nothing happening. People are doing their random works. All of a sudden there is a bomb, and then nothing is happening over here. So to represent such kind of situations, we have Dirac delta function. So mathematically this is defined as, suppose this is our time axis and this is the given function. So we are saying whenever t is equal to 0, the value of function is equal to 1. Whenever it is equal to 1, we say this to be the unit impulse function. Why unit? Because the magnitude here, the value of function here is unit impulse function. The magnitude of the function here is equal to 1. So we say exactly at the point 0, we would have the magnitude of the function as equal to 1. Okay, and everywhere it is 0. So whenever t is not equal to 0, the value of function is 0, otherwise it is equal to 0. And the integration, when taken from the point minus infinity to plus infinity, that is equal to 1. So it is a force. You can say this is a force of 0 duration, which is only non-zero at exact movement, and we say this is non-zero at the point t is equal to 0 and has strength of 1 unit of total impulse. And so the translation of this Dirac delta function, this is defined like this. Suppose you have some point C here. So we are saying there's an impulse at this point C, and everywhere else the value of function is equal to 0. Okay, so this is what we are saying. We have shifted now from the point 0 to the point C here. So we are saying at point C its value is 1, at all other points its value is 0. So basically this is the shifting. And also by integration we mean area. So we say the area of this particular impulse, that is equal to 1. The area would not change. Okay, so now next let us have a very good relationship between the unit step function and the Dirac delta function. So what does this say? We by definition define another quantity delta k t using k. So we say whenever t lies between 0 and k, its value is equal to 1 by k, otherwise it is 0. So how does it look like? Suppose this is the point 0, this is the point k, this is your time axis. So we are saying in this time axis the value of function is equal to 1 by k, and otherwise it is equal to 0 here, and otherwise it is also equal to 0. So this is nothing but this is the unit step function defined by this u of t minus u of t minus k. How? Let me show you here. What is unit step function? Unit step function is u of t, that is equal to 0 whenever t is less than 0, and it is equal to 1 whenever t is greater than equal to 0. So this is the definition of u of t. Now 1 by k multiplied by u of t is 0 multiplied by 1 by k and 1 multiplied by 1 by k. So we have this quantity, and the quantity u of t minus k is the shifted version of this. So that means we are saying it is equal to 0 whenever t is less than k now instead of 0. So this would look like this. We have 0 here. So we are saying the value of function is equal to 0 whenever t is less than 0. This is t, and it is equal to 1 by k. This is 1 by k whenever it is greater than equal to 0. So this is this function, and this function would look like this. The same function, but now we are taking this to be the point k. So whenever your function k is less than k, its value is 0, and otherwise its value is equal to 1 by k. Now we have to subtract these two. When you subtract these two functions, so that means what kind of function will you have? So when you suppose you take this point 0, this point is minus infinity, this is plus infinity, this is t-axis. So whenever you subtract this whole thing, the value 0 here and the value 0 here, 0 minus 0 is 0, so here also it is 0. Say this is the point k. Now from k to infinity, the value of this function is 1, the value of this function is also equal to 1. Suppose this is point k. So that means 1 by k minus 1 by k, that is equal to 0, so here also we have 0. Now what about from 0 to k? From 0 to k, the value of this function is 1 by k and the value of this function is 0. I'm saying the value of this function is 1 by k and the value here is 0. So that means we have 1 by k minus 0, that is equal to 1 by k here. So this is the same function that we have defined over here. So this is nothing but this delta k t. So the value of delta k t, that is equal to 1 by k u of t minus u of t minus k. So now how this delta k t is equivalent to the Dirac delta function that we have been talking about. So the Dirac delta function, what was this? This was defined like this by an impulse. Its value was equal to 1 whenever it is not equal to, whenever it is equal to 0, and otherwise its value was equal to 0. So this becomes the Dirac delta function whenever you take k going to 0, 1 by k tending to infinity. That means you are reducing the duration. So when you reduce k, that means your interval would be, say, new k would be somewhere here. So earlier the area was this one. The total area would have to remain 1. But now what we are doing, we are shrinking k so that 1 by k increases. So that means your function would be somewhere here. So it would be somewhere here. So that the total area, this one, remains the same. Now again, when you are shrinking this more, so the new k is this one. So your final k, the magnitude would then be equal to, say, this one. So this is the magnitude. So that means the area, for the same amount of area, what you are doing, you are shrinking this k, you are moving this k to this side, so that 1 by k is moving to this side. So finally when k tends to 0, that means 1 by k will tend to infinity, and you would have some, suppose this is the axis and this is the y-axis, so you would have a function of this kind which is tending to infinity and like this. So this is what? This is nothing but the impulse at the point t is equal to 0. So this is the limiting value of the function delta k t whenever k goes to 0. So now we are interested to calculate the Laplace transform for this Dirac delta function. So in order to calculate the Laplace transform, because we know this delta of t, that is equal to limiting value of delta kt. And what was delta kt? It was 1 by k u of t minus u of t minus k. So we can apply the Laplace transform on both sides. So we would have the Laplace transform of Dirac delta function, that would be equal to the Laplace transform of this quantity. So that is equal to limit k tends to 0, 1 by k u of t minus u of t minus k. So that means because this is linear operator. L is linear operator. So that means limit k goes to 0, 1 by k, L of u of t and L of u of t minus k. Now we have studied that what is the Laplace transform of u of t? It is equal to 1 by s, and the Laplace transform of u of t minus a, it is equal to e to the power minus as divided by s, and the Laplace transform of u of t minus a into f of t minus a, that was equal to e to the power minus as into the Laplace transform of f of t. So these formula we know which are based on unit step functions. So we'll apply the formula first one. So its value is 1 by s, and the second formula according to minus a, we have minus k, so this is e to the power minus ks divided by s. So you could simplify this. This is the answer. Now we have to take the limit. When you put k is equal to 0 here, in denominator you have k, so denominator becomes 0, and in numerator this term becomes 1 minus e to the power minus 0s, so this becomes 1 minus 1, so this becomes 0. So numerator also becomes 0. So that means we have 0 by 0 form and we cannot directly substitute the limit. So what we will do, we'll apply the L'Hopital's rule. It says that you differentiate numerator separately and differentiate the denominator separately. In denominator the problem was created due to this k. So k multiplied by s, its derivative with respect to k would be s only. And the derivative of 1 minus e to the power minus ks with respect to k, so it would be equal to minus k e to the power minus ks. So finally you have this minus and minus become plus, s cancels with s1, this s, and you will be left with e to the power minus ks. So now you can substitute the limit, so you have e to the power minus 0 and which is equal to 1. So from here we saw that what is the Laplace transform of this delta of t? This is equal to 1. Next, the Laplace transform of delta of t minus a, that is equal to e to the power minus as. And the Laplace transform of delta of t minus a into f of t, that is equal to e to the power minus as into f of t. So these are some of the formulas that you should remember. This should be in your memory, that these are the Laplace transform of the functions where you have this Dirac delta function involved. So I hope this is clear to you.